Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to my attention that last week there was an attempt at a coup against me and Eric Sander. From what I've gathered, Stephen, along with Krista Noren, who's the chief editor of GBE Temp, staged a coup by posting a so-called Tempcast episode on the front page of our website, and they uploaded it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever, all the major streaming websites, without my knowledge and without my consent. Now, I'd just like to remind everyone that I hold the copyright on Tempcast, the Tempcast logo, the Tempcast brand, and GBA Temp as a whole. So any attempts of releasing, you can call it the Krista and Steven podcast, you can call it the Krista cast, the Chari cast, whatever. It's not the Tempcast because I didn't acknowledge it, and I'm sorry for the subpar quality of that episode. Thankfully, Steven, he apologized to me in private, and now Steven is back with the main team on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steven.
I'm sorry, I've learned my lesson. I won't try it again.
I appreciate your apology, but I'll be honest, if you didn't send me the evidence of the preparation for this coup, then I probably wouldn't have accepted you back, I'll be honest, because what you send me is a recording of Krista Noren, the chief editor of GBA Temp, planning a coup. And let's just listen to these tapes and let her speak for herself.
I am Krista Noren of GBA Temp. I, along with Steven, will perform a coup on the Tempcast by illegally taking it away from our host, Alan John. Once again, this is Krista Noren, chief editor of Temp. I also hate black people.
Yeah. This blew me away. This showed me a side of Krista I never knew before. I mean, I think we're all just in disbelief at what happened, and her comments in the end, which were extremely unnecessary, in my opinion. However, that's just the evil that is residing within her.
Texas.
Yes.
That was when I knew I had to turn her in, when she made those racially charged comments.
There's so much evil residing here, but Alan John, I wouldn't say that they were trying to stage a coup. They were just trying to remaster the Tempcast, but I wouldn't even call this much of a remaster. I'd call it more like an HD mod pack.
We were trying to stage a coup. You could say that the evil was trying to take up residence in the Tempcast.
You guys could say that there's another Resident Evil thing going on.
Really? Well, it's a good thing we have Jordan RyRyIV on the podcast, and he's a big Resident Evil. He's our Resident Evil fan, really. And I think you said one time that your favorite Resident Evil is actually Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 4 is pretty close to 5, so you must be a big fan of that as well.
Resident Evil 4 is my favorite, which I've mentioned probably about 100 times just today, because it's a personality trait.
All right, so I'm going to let you finish, Jordan. But the thing is, for those of you who don't know, Jordan's only on this website because of Resident Evil. Pretty sure his first review was, wasn't it a Resident Evil 4, one of the earlier remakes, right?
Yep, for the PS4.
There you go. All right, that's it. Fun fact. I discovered Jordan, and I made him who he is, and he's also me.
You discovered me years before we were on GBA Temp, though. So
that's true.
But yeah, so as Steven and Krista mentioned last week without me, rudely, there are rumors that a proper remake 4 is on the horizon. And this is coming only months after Resident Evil 4 VR dropped on the Oculus Quest 2 exclusively. And now there's been a fan project for an HD remaster mod pack that's been in the works for about 7 years now. I actually didn't know about this until Steven posted the article, just because I'm still relatively new to PC gaming. But the HD remaster mod pack is going to be out in full in 2022, February of 2022, actually, to be specific. So that's exciting. I looked through the screenshots and the video that accompanied this official announcement, and it looks great. It looks like what I thought it looked like when I was playing it on the Wii, actually. Like that, my memories of playing it on the Wii match what this HD remaster mod pack looks like. It certainly looks better than the official HD ports from Capcom. So this is exciting.
This is for PC, right?
Yep.
As a man with a 5.3-inch penis, should I be playing this as my first experience with Resident Evil 4, or should I like emulate it on like the PS2 or the GameCube or the Wii?
Okay.
Even?
So if you were going to emulate it anyway, I would probably say play this with a proper controller, because Resident Evil 4's controls on mouse and keyboard kind of suck.
Okay.
The aiming obviously is fantastic. Actually moving with a keyboard, it's painful. You really need an analog stick to move with any ease in Resident Evil 4.
Doesn't Resident Evil 4 get rid of the tank controls and everything, though?
Kind of. They switched the perspective, but it's still a little tanky with the controls. It just doesn't work quite as nicely without the analog stick.
It always feels weird going back to those older games, like not just Resident Evil, but like even like point and click games like Grim Fandango that use that weird tank control. It's just
tank control?
Yeah, the tank control. Did I say pink control?
It's a taint. What the fuck is a taint control?
So for those of you who don't know, I'm still recovering from COVID. And so words are difficult and I'm nasally, so I apologize. But yeah, it's always weird going back to those old games. Like I don't know why tank controls were ever really a thing. It seems so outdated at this point.
I think at the time when Resident Evil 1 came out, there wasn't really a better way to control characters in the third person in those kind of closed environments, because it takes place like in a haunted mansion, right?
Kind of. And yeah, it's a fixed camera angle, so it's like, how else do you control them with PlayStation 1 era technology?
Aren't all the backgrounds and the backdrops in that game, aren't they already pre-rendered images?
Believe so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
But you could still have made it so that every time you press north, it goes north, right?
So you're talking like Silent Hill PlayStation 1 controls, where the buttons are corresponding to literally northwest, east, south, instead of like forward the player or back the player, right?
Yeah, because as it is, you could be holding left and you can keep heading left, and then once you're in another room, it automatically has you go a different direction. It's weird, right?
I don't think that's how it works in the first Resident Evil, isn't it? I think forward makes you move in the direction your character is facing. Left and right change the direction you're facing.
Okay, yeah.
Down makes you go the opposite.
That is literally how tank controls work.
That yeah, there you go. But it just doesn't feel intuitive. It should be cardinal directions. It shouldn't be pressing up as you go wherever you're facing.
It sounds like Eric just isn't smart enough to understand the genius of the Resident Evil franchise.
I like it, and I like Resident Evil 1. I even like Resident Evil 0, but like it's still funky. Do you not think that the controls are funky? Do you think that it had to be that way?
I think it's a universally accepted truth that the controls are funky, and that's why they've been remaking the Resident Evil games starting with 2 and 3, which use the same tank controls.
Yeah.
Well, they remade Resident Evil 1 first, but they still use tank controls for the remake. So
They did, which is
why I kind of wish they'd do a remake of the remake to put it more in line with the third person perspective that the other remakes did.
Interesting.
But I think that you just said a little bit ago that it had to be that way. Did it have to be that way?
I didn't say it had to be this way. I just questioned if there was a better way to do it, which it sounds like you think there was, and that's okay.
Well, I feel like technology wise, there's no like technical reason that they couldn't have given it the same controls that we use today in modern games. That said, this was before we knew about.
Let's get Alexander a PlayStation 1 development kit. and let him develop better Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not even talking about Resident Evil 1. We're talking about the Resident Evil 4.
Oh, yeah. So
Remaster
tank controls. They got rid of the tank controls-ish, kind of.
They did.
Yeah, they're not technically tank controls, but it's still a little funky on the PC.
But I would say this is a good way to play it for the first time because this fan project has been they even say it right up front at the beginning of their FAQ that they're very committed to the original visuals. They're taking all the textures and they're redrawing them and trying to enhance them. And Capcom, they got a lot of like actual pictures they took pictures of a lot of real life locations to use as textures. And the people working on this mod pack actually retraced Capcom steps and went to these old European castles and have taken pictures of the same textures at higher resolutions with, nicer cameras and stuff.
Yep.
Wow.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah. And they're doing the entire game. They're doing all the side content, like separate ways
and mercenaries.
Stuff. Yeah.
That's interesting.
They're fixing like texture mapping stuff where like, when you enhance the visuals, and I think this is present in the PC port that Capcom did, an object might be floating slightly above the table it's supposed to be resting on or something like that. So they're fixing all that. They're fixing the lighting issues, redoing some of the 3D models. It's pretty intensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's cool looking stuff.
I'm looking at this video and it looks good. It looks pretty nice. I'm looking at the textures, the models. Did they update the models as well?
I don't think they've done the character models. They've said that's the only thing. According to their FAQ, they haven't done character and enemy models because they're not sure if it will produce any side effects.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. But when did this game come out? Like the original?
2005.
2005
on the GameCube.
Looks good for 2005. I mean, Jill Valentine model. I mean that.
Well, hold on. Jill Valentine's not in this game.
Wait, what? Who's the girl in the red dress?
That's Ada.
Ada Wong. Okay.
Ada Wong. And the annoying blonde tailing Leon is Ashley Graham, the president's daughter.
Nice. I didn't know Resident Evil was that deep. Is the President Joe Biden in this? Did they update that?
It's President Graham.
Well, they've taken out the model of President Graham, and for the new mod pack, they're putting in a Joe Biden model for the 2021 release, or 2022.
So are they going to change the daughter to Hunter Biden? And like,
yeah.
Is he going to be like looking for crack? And that will be an interesting gameplay element.
Scene where Louise curves on Ashley is going to be real different when they replace her with Hunter.
Yeah.
I love political jokes.
I was going to say, you were listening to the Joe Biden is the 46th president of the United States thread cast.
It's funny that there's like 4 of us today here, right? Mm-hmm. But as we all know, it doesn't take 4 people to make a podcast. It takes 3.
2. No, it takes 2. I listened to that EOF cast. Y'all were great with 2 people.
EOF, it works with 2 people.
Yeah. But during the normal Tempcast, there's like a weird sexual tension, and it's not fun. But speaking of It Takes Two, apparently Take-Two doesn't like the fact that it takes 2. So they're taking down It Takes Two because It Takes Two uses the word Take-Two in their name, which is not something that Take-Two wants. Steven, you wrote an article about this. Could you describe the thing in detail?
You're going to hear that a lot this podcast.
Yeah, so basically Take-Two Interactive has been issuing trademark claims against anyone that is even vaguely close to any trademark that they own. So that includes anyone with Take-Two in their name. There was, I think, some that just had T2 in there. Anyone that has a 2K in their name, anyone that includes the words Rockstar, Bully, Social Club, anything that is even close to any of their trademarks. For example, there's a clothing brand called Max Fane that got hit by a trademark claim.
Okay, that's reasonable.
There's a clothing retailer, or sorry, not a clothing retailer, just a general retailer that had the slogan, "Don't be a rock star, be a legend." They got hit by a trademark claim.
Has Rockstar energy drinks gotten hit with a
No, they
trademark
haven't.
claim?
Not as far as I could tell. No, there was an art instructor and a holistic healer with a company named Goddess Rockstar Arts. She got hit by one. There was a business consultation firm called Restaurant Rockstars. They got hit by one.
Good.
I don't know. There's a lot of weird ones. They also go after any company with an R in their logo, which seems like a little...
Except for Rockstar Energy, apparently.
Except Rockstar Energy for some reason.
It sounds like they're just going after people who don't have lawyers to fight it.
Probably, yeah.
So are you telling me I can start the Tempcast social club and Eric Xander is going to defend me?
Yeah. See, I've been working out because I'm proposing that we bring back trial by combat. And I think that I could beat up any of the state's attorneys in my county, aside from maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, but could you beat up other members of the mag staff?
No.
I couldn't beat up Ping Pong, no.
No.
Ping Pong isn't mag staff.
Oh, of the mag staff? Oh, yeah, I could kick everybody's ass.
You cannot kick Steven's ass. I'm sorry. No.
You also couldn't kick Krista's ass. She would fuck you up.
You can't hurt a girl, Eric. You're not that type of guy. I'm sorry.
Even if he was that type of guy, I genuinely think Krista would destroy Eric in a fight.
Krista, yeah, she probably hits below the belt.
Yeah, what are you going to do when she in the balls? What happens then? Good thing there aren't any females on the mod staff because, man, that would be awkward.
Very, very true. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, no, Rockstar is suing everybody. They shouldn't be, but this is America. Well, this is actually the whole world, but this is America. You can sue anybody for anything. I mean, they're not winning these suits, these claims.
Well, for It Takes Two, they just abandoned their trademark.
They gave up before before it went any further, which is sad for them because, at least in that case, I can theoretically see why Rockstar or why Take-Two would sue It Takes Two, because they're both at least in the same realm of video games. I get why they're doing it in that case. Though I don't think that...
Go on.
I don't think that they were losing money off of it or anything like that. I don't think that there was a business reason why they had to sue in the first place.
What about...
And it does kind of suck.
What about the podcast they sued from a company called Art of the Piano that teaches you how to play the piano, and the podcast was called Take 5?
Yeah, that's not legitimate at all. That's completely ridiculous.
Also, take a look at the link I put in the chat. I know this is a visual thing, so I probably shouldn't bring it up, but
listeners, fuck you.
But that is for copyright infringement on Rockstar's R logo.
Wow.
No.
As far as I can tell, the mark is R.
Kind of.
I believe that Take-Two thinks they own the letter R. If you look, I put a comment a little bit further down that article where I found, I think, close to a dozen other companies that Rockstar or that Take-Two put trademark claims up against for having R logos. None of them look anything like Rockstar's logo.
It's actually kind of disgusting because the word Rockstar wasn't invented by Take-Two or Rockstar Games. No, they didn't invent it. Rockstar is...
It was invented by Nickelback.
It was invented by Nickelback. They wanted to be rock stars. Are we going to sue Nickelback now?
Even that one I mentioned, they sued some company with the logo, "Don't be a rock star, be a legend." That's a paraphrasing of a Freddie Mercury quote. Like,
wow.
Exactly.
Are they going to sue the estate of Freddie Mercury next?
I don't know. I hope so. They put up something against, I believe it's a TV series. This one I wasn't 100% sure on, but they put a trademark claim against something called Inside the Mafia, which as far as I can tell is either a movie from the 50s or a TV documentary from 2005 about the Mafia.
Wait, I'm confused. What does Inside the Mafia have anything to do with Take-Two?
I think they own the Mafia franchise, right? Like Mafia 1, 2, and 3.
There you go.
Are you trying to tell me that Take-Two trademarked the word Mafia?
I'm saying that they're trying to claim anyone using the word Mafia. They also go after anything with GTA in its acronym. So I don't actually know what any of these things are, but I found claims against trademarks of GTA PLAM, GTA DQIU. There was even one G-TAB. So even if you have a hyphen between any of the letters GTA, they'll still go after you.
Fun fact, some of my clients, they do this... I'm a defense attorney. They do crimes often. Sometimes they commit this offense. It's called Grand Theft Auto. And I just wonder if maybe I should sue my state on behalf of Rockstar, saying, hey, by having this be a crime, you're actually infringing on Take-Two's trademark. Also, the word trademark itself has the Latin letter R in it. And of course, the Latin letter R, even though in the word trademark, it's generally lowercase.
Still owned by Take-Two.
It's owned by Take-Two. I mean, Take-Two, as you know, has been around since like the 3rd century BC, and they invented the letter R. What's happening is I didn't realize how deep this went, but they're actually kind of digging themselves into a hole because of they're going to be at risk of losing their trademark. I know that people say, oh, Disney has to shut down all of these restaurants using Mickey Mouse pancakes and everything because if you don't defend it, you lose it. But at the same time, they are opening themselves up with all of these suits to eventually somebody saying, no, I didn't infringe on your copyright. I didn't infringe on your trademark. And in fact, the word Rockstar is so universal that you, Rockstar, don't have a trademark on the word Rockstar. In fact, you should lose your trademark because you're trying to take a very common word and use that as your own. You know what I mean? It's not like Coca-Cola. It's not like Google. It's not like anything like that. It's a common word.
Yeah.
If I had a company and I called it Potato, and every time somebody tried to incorporate the word potato in there, like, no, I have a trademark on the word potato.
Yeah.
I would eventually lose the trademark on the word potato.
Yeah. And also you'd be a big dick.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah. It just seems like they're going after, like Alan John said, people that won't fight back because like Rockstar Energy, as far as I can tell, has not been hit by a trademark claim.
Wait, Alan John said that?
Did Alan John say that? I thought he did.
I think Jordan said that.
Jordan, I apologize.
Also, hold on, wait, let me take a step back because I just used the word potato, but like Apple is also a really common name, but they do have that trademark. I'm pretty sure they have that locked down. So,
well, Apple has the money to lock it down. You don't have the money to lock down the word potato.
Okay, first of all, you're thinking about Apple, the Steve Jobs, Wozniak thing, the iPhone. I'm thinking about Apple Beatles. John Lennon.
Yeah.
That Apple. The original Apple.
That was a big fight for a long time, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I think they Apple asked Apple if they could do that, and I think they agreed.
Oh, really?
Here's my confusion. Steven, why do you think that Rockstar is justified in this? Because I know we were talking about how much you're like, yeah, get them, Rockstar, get them. I don't really get it. Because it seems like you're explaining this story. You're explaining it. You have to be on their side. Otherwise, why would you be talking about it? So go ahead. Justify it.
Rockstar didn't do anything wrong. Take-Two did. That's what I'm using to get out of this setup. I just want to talk about one other thing that I found. I found Take-Two made a trademark claim against something called Bully Free World. And I could not exactly figure out what they were attacking because obviously they own the trademark for Bully. But when you Google Bully Free World, it's an organization that tries to help parents and teachers prevent the bullying of special needs children in schools. And I don't 100% know that that's what Take-Two was making a trademark claim against, but it's the only thing called Bully Free World I could find.
That's great. I'm glad you don't want kids to be bullied, but we don't want you to use that word because we want you to buy Bully Scholarship Edition.
So we want you to buy a video game about bullying children.
Look, if there was no bullying, there would be no video game. That's exactly why they have to sue. Any state that has Grand Theft Auto as a crime, they have to sue because if Grand Theft Auto was no longer a crime, then they wouldn't have a game franchise.
If someone gets convicted of Grand Theft Auto and goes to jail, it makes Grand Theft Auto look bad, hence hurting their brand.
There you go.
Yeah, they want Grand Theft Auto to look like fun.
Exactly. With no negative consequences.
They should make every crime in that game. They should take a trademark on it.
I think they should make every crime a video game.
They should. They already have murder. That's legal in Mario.
What?
Mario kills a lot.
Do you guys think that this all started because some Take-Two executive was mad that grandmas aren't accidentally buying Take-Two games at GameStop when they ask for It Takes Two?
Yeah, because a kid's like, Grandma, I really want that new game by Take-Two Interactive, please. It's like, oh, okay.
What did you find out, John?
I found a Wikipedia article about Apple Corp versus Apple Computer. And so there was a dispute in the early 80s, late 70s, and it was settled for $80,000 with a clause that Apple Computer can never enter the music business. So,
Wow.
Oh.
But as we know, their first dispute was in 1986 when the Apple computers themselves obtained committee capabilities. And Apple Corporation was like, can't do that. No. And it was all settled 2007. I don't know what exactly happened. I wish I was a lawyer. Maybe I could understand this better.
Then you could explain it.
Yeah, actually. But as we all know, right now there's a service called Apple Music. It's not iTunes anymore. I think iTunes existed because they couldn't say Apple Music, so they created iTunes. And now there's literally Apple Music. So I think Steve Jobs literally spat on the grave of John Lennon. They're probably both in hell right now.
I mean, there's certainly things about John Lennon that would land him there.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, you don't expect John Lennon to be in heaven. Or Steve Jobs. I mean, that guy was a prick as well. I don't think they're all into the Jesus thing. So
I don't think you go to hell just for being a prick, though. You got to be it's a little bit worse than that.
Wasn't Steve Jobs like a Buddhist?
Yeah, that'll get you sent to hell.
yeah, but he didn't like talk to his daughter because I don't.
But he named a computer after her.
Yeah, but then he said no, he didn't. It's an acronym. But then he was like, actually, yeah, it was you all the entire time.
Did she hit him with a trademark claim?
Speaking of
Steve Jobs being dead, the Titan that he was falling down to hell.
Oh, hey, speaking of the fall of Titans.
Son of a...
The original Titanfall got delisted the other day after it's been getting slammed with DDoS attacks for several years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, there's no real reason Titanfall was getting hit with DDoS attacks other than there was a vulnerability that allowed people to do it, and so they decided to just mess with Respawn by doing it. And they've been eventually they just gave in. I don't even know like exactly what they were doing to fight it. I assume they were trying to, but they've officially thrown in the towel and given up. Apparently Titanfall 2 also has been getting hit with similar attacks, but that game has a single player campaign, so they're not taking it down.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Also, I don't own Titanfall, so I don't think I can check this, but according to a PC Gamer article from the other day, there were only 7 people playing Titanfall at the time that it was delisted. So
that wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, it's probably not the biggest hit to take it down off sale. They're keeping the servers up too, but they're not going to sell it anymore.
So that those 7 people can keep playing their game.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You know, this is probably what's going to happen to Team Fortress 2 very soon because the bot issue has not been fixed. Every time they try to do like a band-aid fix to it, like minutes later, the hackers find a better way to overcome that fix, and the servers are filled with bots again on TF2. I'm afraid that's going to happen real soon. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is that Team Fortress makes a lot of money through the community market on Steam. So that's probably what's holding it up. still.
Is there any reason it's being targeted for attacks, or is it just that people can do it, so they do?
Yes, that's precisely the reason, because people are bored. People have nothing to do. There are people who are literally sitting in front of their computers all day, sometimes recording a podcast.
Recording a podcast.
Well, some people record podcasts. Other people, they find vulnerabilities in like 10-year-old games and try to DDoS it. Or as with Team Fortress, instead of DDoSing, they just fill up the servers with bots who are just, they have spin bots and aim bots and whatever, and they make the game unplayable unless you're on a community server.
That's interesting. So there are community hosted servers that aren't vulnerable to that?
There are community hosted servers that have admins and like mods who they see that, they kick them out instantly, but Valve servers,
no one cares. At
some point in Team Fortress 2, they completely switched the mechanism where you get into a game. Like back in the day, it used to be like a classic Source game where you could just open up the server browser and you can, okay, this is a Valve server. Okay, this is a community server. I'll join whichever one I want. But after some point, they made it extremely streamlined where it's a lot more difficult to open the community browser. And so most of the players, like 80, 60%, they just press on play, find a match, and you always get into a Valve server, and they're always infested, these bots. So it's really sad that Valve doesn't give a shit about one of their best games. It's kind of making me sad, actually, right now.
Do they give a shit about any of their games? I don't think they do.
Yes, they give a shit about Counter-Strike in Dota. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Unfortunate.
It's kind of sad that people take their time, like, let's just DDoS Titanfall. I don't care. I mean, what's the vulnerability, though? I'd be interesting to see why they wouldn't be able to just patch up that vulnerability. Maybe it's because... Is it Respawn working on a new Star Wars game? Yeah, they're working on Fallen Order 2, right?
Was that a rumor or was that confirmed?
It should be confirmed. That's the only successful EA Star Wars game.
Either way, they're working on... They're always doing updates for Apex Legends still, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
No, it doesn't look like them working on a new Star Wars game is confirmed, but it was heavily rumored. But either way, yeah, Apex Legends, I imagine, takes up most of their time. That's their biggest priority.
They also made Medal of Honor Above and Beyond.
Yeah, they did.
I feel like Pixar should sue for saying Above and Beyond. You know?
What is that an infringement of?
To Infinity and Beyond.
Oh, speaking of To Infinity and Beyond, the new Buzz Lightyear trailer has dropped, and boy, oh boy, Buzz is a hunk of a man. He is a stud.
That model of Buzz looks like I know exactly where he was on January 6th, 2021.
That model of Buzz looks like he turns his body cam off.
What? What does that mean?
What do you mean, what does that mean?
What's a body cam?
Oh, I forget you don't live in America. I mean that he's a police officer.
Oh my God.
And he runs into an African American person and he turns his body camera off before he kills him. Look, I can say that. I represent people who are abused by cops.
Actually, yeah. Thank you for that.
Speaking of Eric representing people, Eric's been a long time PlayStation representative.
Ooh, yeah, he has.
My uncle works at Sony.
So what does your uncle think about this alleged new service to compete with Gamepass?
He told me that all of my friends are going to get PlayStation 5s if you're just nice to me.
Hey, I've never been nicer to you. So give me the fucking PS5 right now.
Hey, I've never been nice to you, and nothing's going to make me start.
Hey, Eric, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, happy birthday, buddy.
It is my birthday.
Happy birthday!
So when does the PlayStation 5 come?
To be determined. So, yeah, what had happened was PlayStation might be doing something that might possibly try to compete with Xbox Game Pass, which is one of the things that, admittedly, Microsoft really does have going for it right now. Is Xbox Game Pass is pretty lit. I don't think that anybody is really debating that. I think the idea is that Sony's probably going to have something that merges PlayStation Now with PlayStation Plus, probably have tiers. I know that Nintendo's doing that. Hopefully it's a better value than Nintendo, or Nintendo Online, that is. But yeah, that's pretty neat, right?
Yes, it is. Actually, because a couple of days ago, I was at a general appliances store and I saw an Xbox Series S. And it was right there. And I was counting the money on my bank account. And I'm like, hey, I guess if I don't eat anything by the end of the month, I could afford this.
So you bought it?
No, of course not. I'm a responsible adult with a salary of $160 a month. So no.
Brag about it.
And I was like, wait, I could buy this. This goes up to 1440p. I don't really need 4K. It can play Elden Ring. I mean, I saw the Digital Foundry video. It plays Elden Ring decently. That's all I care. So maybe I might buy that. And also, I thought about Game Pass. I thought about it, like, legitimately. I don't know if it's available in my country, though. It probably, hopefully is, because it would be stupid for it not to be like a universal thing. And I was like, okay, that's actually nice, because in comparison, we have Sony with a console that I cannot buy anywhere. Wherever I look, it's just never available, and the games are like $70, the ones that I want to play, and Bloodborne isn't even like upscaled and updated to the PS5. And like, yeah, that's just way too expensive. But now with this, like, they're saying you can possibly, allegedly, you're going to be able to play like games from the PS1, PS2, PS3, and the PSP. That's actually quite interesting. I'd like to see them do PS3 games. Would that be through emulation, do you guys think? Or would that be like streaming?
It would probably be streaming. That's what they do with PlayStation Now at the moment.
With the PS3 games for PlayStation Now, yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just want to make quick, going back to something you said earlier, this will be relevant to all of our Ukrainian listeners. Xbox Game Pass is not available in Ukraine.
Pieces of shit, motherfuckers. Well, guess what, Microsoft? I'm Team PlayStation now. Fuck you.
Boom. PlayStation Now is also not available in Ukraine, I believe we discovered.
Yes, because I wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 4, but Sony was like,
quick
no.
question. Wouldn't he just be able to change his region and then be able to do it?
No.
You mean like move to a better country?
No, only if he takes advantage of our sponsor with NordVPN.
That's us. NordVPN. Use code Eric.
That's so stupid, though. Using a VPN to play a streaming service that's not available in your country. Like, imagine, first of all, the lag. Second of all, the expenses, because you got to pay for the VPN as well.
Well, you get a discount. You get 3 months free if you use our code. So there you go, buddy.
Can I beat Metal Gear Solid 4 in 3 months?
I don't know. Can you?
I don't know. Is it hard?
Maybe if you get good.
I mean, I played all the other ones. The good one is, at least.
Let's throw it to resident Metal Gear expert Steven to answer if he can beat it in 3 months.
Depends how much time he has to play, but it's not a super long game, especially if you watch all the cutscenes beforehand, because like 80% of that game is cutscenes.
Well, that's the point of the game. I'm not going to watch the cutscenes on YouTube. Like, the only one I saw was the last one.
Why not just watch all the cutscenes on YouTube? There's really no point to playing the game. It's not that good.
I mean, maybe it's not that good for you. Maybe because, remember, you at one point in time, you thought Metal Gear Solid 5 was a bad game. Remember?
That's true. I still think it's a bad Metal Gear game.
What?
But it's a decent game.
No, it's the best Metal Gear game.
It is the fourth best Metal Gear game.
It's the first best Metal Gear game. It's better than Snake Eater.
Anyway, I think the interesting thing about this Sony rumor, and I think the thing that lends it the most credibility, is that they are going out of their way to ignore the Vita again, because there is never any mention of you being able to play Vita games in any of these rumors.
Horrible.
Yeah, if this were faked, someone would definitely throw Vita in just to get the attention.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm pretty convinced this is real.
It's just like that NVIDIA leak that included like insane games like a Half-Life remastered, GTA remastered, and what was it? Kingdom Hearts 4? Yeah.
The Dolphin emulator?
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 4 was in that list, but Bloodborne for PC wasn't anywhere to be seen, so that made it so credible. So is this. You know what's more credible than these rumors? The fact that everything comes to an end. Speaking of, thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the Tempcast, ladies and gentlemen. And a special Alexander birthday special episode of the Tempcast where we congratulated Alexander with the Tempcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. And Alexander, your final thoughts.
COVID is a hoax.
Okay, shut it down. Shut it down. Turn the fucking microphone off. Turn it off.